Hello, it's me again, Sister Annette. How are you? I just wanted to share with you how I got to getting a colonoscopy. So my journey begins. So we know that in 2020, the world shut down because of COVID. It came in like a wind, and it took away family members and families, and my heart still grieves for those who lost loved ones. Please know you're in my prayer. So we get to 2021. And in about, I think, March and April, my job reached out to us and said, the vaccination, if you want to be vaccinated, you can call a hotline and you could schedule to be vaccinated. So I did. In March, I scheduled to be vaccinated. And when I was going to get to the appointment to be vaccinated, something in me, Holy Spirit was like, no. So I didn't go. A couple of weeks later, my daughter had got her vaccination and she encouraged me to do it. So I said, let me schedule again. So I called and they gave me another date. And I was on, thinking of going. I didn't even make it out of the house that time. And so I didn't. My son started calling me up. We call him Dr. Chesson. He's studying to be a respiratory therapist. So, he knows, and he's going to clinicals, and he's dealing with people who had COVID and putting them ventilators and taking them off. And, all the things that he had to go through was very draining on him. So he was very adamant about me getting a vaccination. So in April, I said I'm going to schedule, and I, scheduled again. And again, when I was on my journey to get it, Holy Spirit said no. So I turned back around. I go to the doctor in April. My doctor encourages me because I got hypertension to get the vaccination. So I said, okay, schedule it. I'm scheduled for the end of April. Everything in me was like, I'm going to get it. But the Holy Spirit said no. So I said, I'm not even going to fight you no more. I'm not getting it. So we go through May, June, July, August. Me and my son, intense conversations to the point where he would cry. He really wanted me to get vaccinated, and I really was not. For my own beliefs and the fact that I'm learning Holy Spirit in a different way, and Holy Spirit is active in my life. I'm more aware. I'm getting up. I was taking a class online, Pentecost in the pandemic, and I was really encouraged by the words of the woman of God. And I really was dealing with Holy Spirit and allowing Holy Spirit to be evident in my life. So it was like I would get up, Holy Spirit, good morning, and Holy Spirit this and Holy Spirit. So I was more aware of Holy Spirit in my life, more so than ever before. So I was, Holy Spirit was adamant that, we're not getting a vaccination. And, I had made up my mind. So in August comes around, and my job is like, it's going to be mandatory. You must be vaccinated by November, and you might lose your job if you don't. They did give us an opportunity to do a letter of exempt. But see, in my mind, I'm like, I'm not working. I'm going to get ready to lose my job. So I'm like, okay, I remember my doctor said I needed to see an OBGYN. I needed to get a mammogram, and I needed to do a colonoscopy. And I'm like, you need to do all these things while you still have insurance. So you have to May 15th. So August, I scheduled, I got it done. My colonoscopy was September the 3rd. So I'm in the hospital on a Friday. I do what oh my God, the process of doing, to have the colonoscopy, you have to drink, Marilax and a Gatorade and this concoction. You have to do it for 2 hours straight. And, so you could clean out your system. So I did it, I didn't blink or, go through any of all those things, that usually I would go through, because I'm very stubborn, if you know me. And, this is something I learned about myself. I am very stubborn. Annette, you are very stubborn. People would tell me I was stubborn. I was like, I'm not stubborn. I'm just adamant in whom I believe. I believe God. I believe God. But, I was really stubborn. I was even stubborn to the Holy Spirit and stubborn to God. So in this process, I'm going through, I'm just like, wow, this is a lot. So I go in, admit myself into the hospital. We go in, we do the colonoscopy. First, I had to get a COVID exam, which they didn't tell me beforehand. So that morning, I had to be in there by 7:50 to get a COVID exam. Everything was fine. They sent me over. I get in. The procedure is not. I mean, I didn't feel anything, even taking the medication the day before, because I want to encourage you, if you have not gotten a colonoscopy, please get a colonoscopy. The process was 2 hours of drinking this fluid. You go through, this cleaning out your system, but it wasn't anything that I thought it would be. Okay, so I go to get the colonoscopy. They put me out. I'm praying. They allow me to pray. I'm praying for the surgeon. I'm praying for whoever has to do the testing, read it correctly, all these things. And, then they said, are you ready? Count. We're going to count you down to 3 and you're going to, you should be asleep. So there's 1, they did 3, 2, I'm out. So, and I wake up. My 2 doctors are standing where the desk is. They come over. I'm up. I'm a little hazed, and they say to me, with the paper. They come with paper of your film of what took place and what they found in the colon. So on the first page, everything looked good. It was looked good, looked healthy. The second page, I could see a big red mass. So they said we found a mass in your colon. And we weren't able to remove it, because if I would have got a colonoscopy ahead of time, it would have been little polyps and they could have pulled them out. And I would not probably be in this place that I'm in right now. So that's why I'm going to encourage you to get a colonoscopy. So, they said we couldn't get it. We couldn't pull the mass. It's a large mass. However, what we pulled from the mass has come up to be precancerous cells. So I said, okay. Holy Spirit is with me, because she says you're going to have to have surgery. Now, anybody knows me, I would say the devil is a liar. Holy Spirit is with me. Holy Spirit says through me, we have to do surgery. So I'm laying there. They said, I talked to your daughters. We called your daughters. And I said, okay, so I'm calling my son, because I'm thinking my daughters know what they found. So I want to tell my son. So I'm calling my son. He doesn't answer the phone because he's 3 hours ahead of me. Oh, behind me. He's 3 hours behind me. So I call him. He doesn't answer. I call Chris. He doesn't answer. So I'm like, okay. So I'm laying there, and Holy Spirit said, no, don't tell him, because he's gonna lose it. So don't tell him. So I goes in the car, they take me downstairs to my daughters, and my daughter pull up. I get in the car, and Holy Spirit just holds my tongue. I don't tell him. For 4 days. And then I was like, go into Sade's room, because I live with my daughter Sade, and me and Josiah live together. So I go in Sade's room, and I says to her, call your brother and sister, because now it's 4 days and I'm able to process it. Holy Spirit done dealt with the devil is a liar. I'm not doing that, because I'm very stubborn, and I'm not lying to you when I say that. I'm very clear on that now. I was very stubborn. I am no longer stubborn. So I'm like, okay, I'm processing it. I have to have surgery. So I'm going to tell my daughters now, and my son. So I go in her room and I say, call your brother and your sister. So, they get on the phone, and, we talking. And I said, I got something to tell y'all. I had a colonoscopy, and they found a large mass, and I have to have surgery. And I would prefer if we don't say anything at this point. We're just going to go ahead and, see what they say. So we go through the process. My kid, he flies home. He has to be with me, because, of course, these people are Google people. So he Googling everything. He asked me, could he have my chart information, which I give to him. I give it to my daughters. I want them to be able to make logical, have understanding on what is getting ready to transpire in my life. Because I'm not going through this alone. They're my family. I have 2 daughters, Amanda and Sade. Love you. I have Nate, my son. I have Josiah, my grandson. Amor, my granddaughter. I have AJ and Robert. Mandy's at this time Amanda's pregnant with my fifth grandchild. So they're a part of this process with me. So we go and we go through this, tug of war with each other. Everybody has their emotions, and everybody, rightly so, should have emotions. So, we're very loving towards one another and what everyone had to say or bring to the table. So everybody knows what it is. My son diagnosed me, and correctly, I must say. So we, get to the surgery. I call up, maybe September the 18th or something to schedule the surgery. They say October the 15th. And in my mind, you telling me I have a mass and you're going to schedule me October the 15th because I had no idea. They say you need surgery. I'm thinking you having it the next day. No, that's not how it works. So again, please get your colonoscopy. Get your mammogram. Go to your OBGYN. Whatever they ask you to get it because the doctor doesn't know. That is, God empowered them to be able to have the knowledge. And I used to say, override that. But now I know God has empowered them to be able to help us to make wise choices. Also. So we get to the surgery. You're going to love this. So what I wanted to say before I get to the surgery part, which I'll do another video. What I wanted to say was this. If I had got the vaccination, I would not have known I had a mass which was cancerous in my colon. I wouldn't, because I would never got a colonoscopy because that's just who I am. I had to go and be obedient to the Holy Spirit and not get the vaccination, not give into peer pressure of my son constantly asking me to get to get a vaccination. If I had, I would not have found out, and God knows what next year would abort. I remember even when we were going through the pandemic, and I was home, and we did 5 a.m. prayer on my church, and I had this little lump in the top of my right near my vocal cord. It was like a little knot there, and I remember one morning I was praying and crying and crying and crying, and as I was walking out, the Holy Spirit said to me, "Death will not come onto your house." And I was like, okay. So then, the next morning we get in prayer. I'm praising God. I'm thanking God. Thank you for your healing. Thank you for the healing. Thank you for your healing. Thank you for your... We never know what we're praising God for in advance. So in advance, I'm praising God because I'm like, thank you for the healing. Thank you for the healing. And I heard him so plainly say, death will pass over your house. This is during the pandemic. And of course, you're thinking COVID. No idea that it had anything to do with my colon, anything to do with cancer. I'm thinking it's COVID, and COVID's not going to, come into my home. It had nothing to do with that because God was in advance letting me know that death would not come over my house. So we get to having the surgery, and I will share that in the next video. But I just wanted to share with you today how I got to that point. If I had went and got the vaccination, I would not have known that I needed to have surgery. I would have not known I was a mass. And the mass was not a small mass. It was a large mass. It had ate to 2/3 of my colon, my sigmoid colon. It had eaten through it. So 2/3 of it. If it would, this thing could have been so much more if I had not. Listen to the Holy Spirit. That's why I encourage you. When Holy Spirit speak, when the Holy Spirit unction you and say, don't go around that corner, don't go around that corner. Holy Spirit knows what's on the other side. So Holy Spirit knew, and don't get that vaccination. Don't get the vaccination because I'm taking you somewhere. I'm taking you to healing. I'm taking you to somewhere that's going to be not healing just in your body, your mind, your heart, your soul. I am taking you somewhere in healing. So I just want to encourage you, and I will be back with another video soon. God bless.